Lupe, how are you doing today?
Hi, Kara. I'm doing good.
Good. Thank
I'm
you for
glad to
coming
be
in.
here.
Good. I'm glad you're happy to be here. I'm happy to see you. Thanks for coming in today. I just want to start with summarizing where we left off last week. So last week we left off with talking about kind of going over what automatic negative thoughts were and how our automatic thoughts that we tell ourselves and we think are intertwined with our feelings and our behaviors. Does that sound familiar? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Okay, so last week when we were talking about some of your automatic negative thoughts, we got to talking about some anxiety that you were feeling in regards to situations with your husband at home. Are you still having those? It's been about a week. I just want to follow up, see where we're at.
Yeah, I don't think much has changed. He's still quiet.
Gotcha. And when you say he's quiet, right, I want to evaluate and examine that a little bit more, okay? So I brought in a worksheet for us to kind of go through, just to examine the thoughts and that are thoughts, feelings, and behaviors that are kind of underlying this feeling of that this event of your husband's being quiet. Does that sound okay with you?
Yeah.
Okay. If it's okay, I'm just gonna get a little closer to you just so we can work on this together and collaborate on it. Okay. So, first I want to start off with identifying the activating event. So, what would you say was the event?
We were sitting at the dinner table and he didn't talk. He was quiet.
Okay. So, the event was dinner time and your husband was quiet.
Yeah.
Okay. And taking yourself back to that moment, you're at the dinner table with your husband and he's quiet. He's not talking during your meal. What was the automatic thought that popped up in your head when that happened?
He was upset or mad at me.
So you took his quietness as he was mad at you and angry. Okay, so I'm gonna write that part down too. Okay. So you, just to make a connection for you, you kind of correlate quietness with anger. Okay. So when you were in this event and you had this thought pop up in your head, like, oh, he's angry at me. How did that make you feel?
Anxious. I would say anxious.
Okay. Right. And did you have any somatic symptoms, anything physically going on, or was it just internally?
It was like internally.
Like mental anxiety, okay. And when you felt anxious due to him being quiet and you thinking he was angry at you, what did you do? What were some actions that you took?
I just started talking to him, like, I had just random conversations just to try to get him to talk to me so that I knew that he wasn't upset. Because when he gets upset, he doesn't really talk. So I just feel like if I fill in like the silence, it would help.
Okay. So when he's quiet and you get anxious, you start to talk a lot more. Just look for conversations to have, filling the silence.
Yeah.
Okay. And does silence make you uncomfortable?
Yeah.
Got it, okay. So I'm gonna write talkative on there. Does that sound right?
Yeah.
Okay. So now that good job on breaking this down. So now that we've examined the situation, right? We have the activating event of you're eating dinner with your husband and he's more quiet than usual. You had the automatic thought that he's angry with you. You did something wrong potentially, which led to you feeling anxious, which led to you being more talkative. Okay. And are you seeing how all of these are intertwined together? Okay. And how often is this happening? Where you're having these just automatic thoughts popping in your head when your husband's quiet?
Often, like 5 times weekly.
Okay. So at the moment, it's happening like 5 times a week. Okay. Okay. So now I want to go into the evaluating, which is we're gonna examine this thought that if he's quiet, he's angry with you. And I just wanna look at the facts that prove that that's true, okay? Not that you have to convince yourself that you're wrong, because maybe you aren't, you know? Maybe he is angry, you can't read his mind, you know? But I just wanna look at, is the thought that he's angry when he's quiet, is that 100% true? Or is there any percentage that it could be wrong?
Yeah, I think just because he's quiet doesn't mean he's upset.
Okay. So when your husband's quiet, it doesn't mean 100% that it's a fact that he's angry with you. Okay. And you just started to come up with maybe like an alternative, it sounds like. So what are some alternative things that you could tell yourself when he's quiet?
Maybe that he's just tired. He works a lot.
Okay.
So like that he's tired, he's exhausted, he just wants to like relax. And I feel like he's not a very outgoing person. So he's not very talkative in general. And I am. So I feel like that's why I think like, because he doesn't talk like as much as I do, something's wrong.
Okay, got it. So you came up with some other ways that you could see things. When he's tired, or when he's quiet, maybe you said tired, just wants to relax. Maybe it's just how he is. He's not as social as you maybe. Okay? And if you were to, in these moments in an event where your husband's quiet at the dinner table, how would it make you feel if you believed the alternative, that maybe he's just tired and not that he's angry at you?
I wouldn't feel as anxious.
Okay.
Or have like the negative thoughts.
Okay. So you would feel less anxious and maybe, what else?
Like, happy.
Okay,
Like I wouldn't be so down and hard on myself.
got it. So you wouldn't take it so personal.
Yeah.
Got it. You would look at it maybe more as it's just something he's going through and it's not something wrong with you per se.
Yeah, like a little more understanding.
Okay. Okay. So I noticed that our time's coming to an end. So before we end, I wanted to just go over maybe like some homework that we can do over the next week. Does next Wednesday, same time work for you?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So over the next week, I'm gonna create something called a log and I'll email it to you. And I have it right here. So basically how the logs work is throughout the next week, you can be at home, at school, just wherever you're at, just throughout your days, I want you, anytime a thought comes up into your head, those automatic negative thoughts. It doesn't have to be exactly the one we went over today that was bothering you, but just any automatic negative thoughts that pop up and are bothering you, just write them down in a column going down this way, and then next to it, just take note of what time it happened and where you were at. And over the course of our sessions, we'll just keep looking at your log and see if we see any trends in times or places or people that these automatic thoughts are happening. See if we can find any core meanings in them, and we'll see what we can do to decrease how often they're happening each day. How does that sound? Good? Okay,
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, great job today, and thank you for coming in, and I'll see you next week.